Trainer Emily here, and this is Rocco. Welcome to Training Tip Tuesday. This week we continue our series on all about clickers. Last week we talked a little bit about teaching the dog to target your hand. Come here, hey, by putting the treat in it. Rocco. Good. And then feeding them a treat. So that's one type of targeting. Another type of targeting is teaching them to put their feet on something. The most common type and the most useful type that we often find is teaching the dog to target a mat. This is really handy because in the long run, you could eventually teach your dog to go over to the mat on cue and lay down. This is really useful, for instance, if you are eating at the table and your dog is a habitual beggar. You can teach him to go and lay down on his mat quietly during dinner instead. The first thing we have to do is start out is get the dog interested. Hey, Rocco, come here. Good. And then we watch the dog for any movements toward the mat. Rocco. Okay. Sorry, Rocco's a little distractible today, so I'm gonna up the rate of treats. Good boy. And just start treating him for being on the mat, being around the mat. Yes, good boy. So after I've marked him for being on the mat a couple of times, then I reset it to get him off of the mat. And then when the dog comes back, he'll walk back onto the mat. There. You know. And right now the requirement is really low. Just one paw is fine. And we'll try and reset it. Go over there. Yes, good boy. Good job. I'm also hanging around the mat right now to encourage him to come over. I'm basically putting myself between, or the mat between myself and him, so he's more likely to come on it. But eventually, I'll want to move around in different locations so that he gets more the idea that he's supposed to go on the mat. Okay? So this isn't too bad of a first training session. However, with practice, the dog will show more and more interest in walking over to the mat and waiting for his treat there. Mats are really handy for moving around to different locations so that you can manage where your dog is and manage their movement in cases where you need to. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next week.